So I just finished watching the OKC Thunder Denver Nuggets game, and I want to preface this by saying, even though I'm a biased Thunder fan, I think it's pretty clear SGA is the best player in the world. It's weird because it's kind of like steadily become more and more of a conversation. You know, when he first took his first steps from just a young star to all star to like superstar MVP candidate to the MVP, and then coming off last year where he just won the Thunder's first ring in franchise history, where he was a scoring champ, where he won MVP, Finals MVP, had a great playoff run, all that, and then coming into this season where this was like, okay, last year I consider him the best in the world already, and then after the playoff run I was like, okay, that solidifies it. But then I was like, okay, this year is like where he just makes that gap kind of wider between him and Jokic in my eyes, and I think this game is like a big improvement as to why I have him as the best player in the world. Before I start anything, I don't want to make this as a thing of Jokic is not as good as you think he is, because that's not true. You know, I think he does have his faults, you know, from defensively to sometimes his shot taking at times is a little worrisome, but like still one of the best offensive players we've ever seen. He is the best offensive center we've ever seen. I don't even think it's relatively close anymore. But it's like watching SGA, it's like, okay, this is like a top 3 guard peak ever, you know, which is crazy to say because, you know, you want to go to your Chris Pauls, you want to go to your Magic Johnsons, you want to go to your Russell Westbrooks, your Steve Nashes, all that, your Kobe Bryant's, D Wade, James Harden. But I think it's MJ, Steph, and then SGA. I think at this point, like I'm very confident just saying he has a top 3 guard peak ever, you know. And if he wins another ring, and obviously he's probably going to get MVP this year, and then if he wins another ring, Finals MVP, all that, we're going to start having some real uncomfortable conversations about where he's at all time, you know. Because then it's like, okay, well, where do I put him in a comparison to a guy like Giannis or KD on the all-time list? Because now I'm like, okay, I'm putting him over them. So, but as I was saying, I think this is that Pistons game from last year where he just kind of solidified himself as the MVP. And it's so funny watching this game because it's like, oh man, I'm getting flashbacks to back in 2017 when Russ hit the game winner over Denver to get his triple-double record and win his MVP. You know what I'm saying? That was the game everybody said, okay, that solidified it. He's the MVP. And it's so funny because it's like, oh, it just happened again. You know, Jokic just watched these all-time Thunder point guards just go out and win their MVP, and you know what I'm saying, last time it was kicking the Denver Nuggets out of the playoffs. This time it's pretty much just snatching the MVP chain away from Jokic and just kind of shutting that down. And it's just a funny coincidence. It's just a really funny situation thing of. But as I was saying, I think SGA is just clearly the best player in the league right now. You know what I'm saying? We could talk about his scoring all we want. You know, he's been the best mid-range scorer in the league the past 3 years. He's been the best finisher in the league in the past like 3 years. Even among like bigs too. Like I think he's just the best finisher, period. You know, because when you really think about it, the only options are like Giannis or, you know, Jokic himself, or like a healthy, well, not even a healthy Embiid, you know. Or yeah, that's like the only guys you can really think of who would have a like a real argument to being there with him as finishers. And I think how he finishes as a guard, the way he's like really elusive around the rim, his athleticism, which is like his athleticism is, I think in my eyes, the most underrated part of his game. Because you see it and you think it's like a thing of when you think of athleticism, you think of guys like the Thompson twins, obviously Michael Jordan, LeBron, Russell Westbrook, but he doesn't have their type of like just sheer explosive athleticism. His is more of a quick first step in a balance type of thing, closer to something like Kyrie Irving's type of athleticism, or you know, a guy like Steph Curry's type of athleticism, where it's like, it's not, oh, they have these like ability to just jump out of a gym. No, it's like his ability to like keep his ankles just super flexible, and to be able to like kind of maneuver himself around defenders in like so many ways, and be able to kind of like shift his body mid-air and everything, is like, that's kind of where that athleticism comes in. And combining that with his mid-range game, which is automatic. There's a reason why he draws so many fouls on it, because you kind of have to bite on it because he's shooting like 60% on these mid-range shots. So you don't want to give those up, obviously. But then he's so good at like keeping that pivot foot down and being able to like get you off your feet, jump into you. That's an easy free throw if you want. And I'll get into free throws a little bit later too. You know what I'm saying? That's like always the big detriment against him that you hear anytime you see SGA get talked about. But yeah, and then now his 3-ball, it was definitely a weakness for his game at first, but he's just kind of slowly become a better 3-point shooter, to the point now where it's like, it seems like in the clutch he's actively hunting for that 3-point shot, because he knows that teams are going to collapse in on him if he tries to go to the mid-range, or if he tries to just finish at the rim. He knows, okay, if I get this 3-point off, I know I'll get the separation, and I know it's going to be a one-on-one coverage. I know unless they blitz me at the half-court line, which they don't want to do when you have, like if you have a fully healthy Thunder team out there, you don't want to blitz them at that half-court line, because now you're letting other guys get a good look at the rim or whatever. But now all of a sudden this 3-point allows him to just hunt for the ISO one-on-one on the perimeter. And as I said, and I've told people this before, I don't think you can guard him one-on-one. I think it's actually impossible to guard SGA one-on-one. He's a walking mismatch. You don't think of him as like some oversized guard, but he really is. He's a 6'6" point guard. He switched from the small forward to the shooting guard to now the point guard. Like, he is the Thunder's one. And that also showed in today's game too, because we see it, and you don't really think of him as a great passer, but in my eyes, he's probably one of the best passers out of the double team in the league right now. He had a 15 assists, 0 turnovers game, which I'm not saying he has that every game, but he's like consistently shown the ability to find the open man out of those double teams that he sees, and combine that with his handles, combine that with his efficiency. It just makes him like the type of player that doesn't have many wasted possessions, if any at all. So it's like just seeing that offensive game just kind of all put together, it makes him like an impossible cover. It just makes it so, like, when you're a coach, when you're a defense, when you're trying to like figure out, okay, how do we stop him, how do we slow him down, it turns into, well, we kind of have to just take the ball out of his hands. And then all of a sudden you're letting guys like AJ Mitchell, you're letting guys like J-Dub, you're letting guys like Chet, Isaiah Hartenstein, Isaiah Joe, Jared McCain now, Alex Caruso make plays when they're playing like 4-on-3 now instead. Because now you've got your 2 guys behind the play. You've got your best perimeter defender behind the play, and you've got a wing behind the play. So all of a sudden you're asking your center and like a guard and maybe your other wing to go and stop a 4-on-3 when there's 4, when all 4 of those guys most likely can shoot. We saw tonight Jalen Williams had 7 threes. Which he's not gonna have that every game. OKC employs a bunch of guys that can just shoot the ball. So all of a sudden it becomes a thing of, okay, well, if we blitz him, we're going to be just playing right into them, just letting the rest of his team do whatever they want. And if you don't blitz him, as we saw with Christian Brown, is it Braun? I think it's Braun. Whenever he tried to guard him one-on-one, he got fried almost immediately. Like, he couldn't guard him. He couldn't stay in front of him. He couldn't do anything. Like, his best defensive play was a foul, and it's not even like he's a bad defender. He's actually a really good perimeter defender, but there's not much you can do about him there. We've seen him fry the best defenders in this league. We've seen him play against Amen and Asar Thompson. We've seen him play against OG Anunoby. So it's just really funny to look at, because all of a sudden it turns into okay, we just kind of have to just pick one and hope he is just off. And then defensively, I think this is also where that makes that gap between him and Jokic bigger, because anybody will tell you Jokic is not a good defender. I think he's not as bad as it's heard. Like, he's not even the worst defensive center on this team. Like, he hasn't been. But that's not a good thing. That's just because the Nuggets, for some reason, keep employing centers that are just worse than him defensively. So his numbers always look a lot better, because, like, Like Jonas Valanciunas is not a good defender. I don't think Jonas Valanciunas is a very good player right now, you know. But that's a whole nother thing in itself. But and Jokic, he's not horrifically bad defensively, but he's really bad though. Especially at the center position, which is such an important position. It's just he's really bad sometimes. Like it's not like with Steph Curry when you can really hide that. You know what I'm saying? You can hide that with elite perimeter wing defenders. You can hide that with an elite rim protector. Like no, you need your center to be a good defender, and he's just not. He's not a good rim protector. He doesn't have much verticality. He's very slow-footed too, so that makes it even harder because you can't really trust him to like switch on to people or anything like that. And it's not like he's undersized or anything though. But he does make up for it by being an elite rebounder. He's like one of the best rebounders in the game. He's probably the best rebounder in the game, if we're being honest. Like I can't tell you how many times watching OKC and Denver play, and he just gets like 5 offensive rebounds a game, and he's just kind of sitting under the rim. He's not actually jumping. He's just really good at positioning, and he's got a big body. Right, and he knows how to read passing lanes really well, like how most all-time passers and playmakers do. He's like a really good, he's like really good at just reading those defensive passing lanes. So, and what I'm trying to go into that is seeing this game kind of show how SGA is as a two-way player. Obviously, he's not on the level of a Giannis Antetokounmpo or a Victor Wembanyama, or even like a Jaylen Brown defensive level player, but like he's still really good. You know, he's like that D Wade, LeBron James type of rim protector where they're really good for their position, right? Like the best you could ask for at that position. Like obviously they're not a great rim protector. Like I'm not gonna expect him to be like Chet out there protecting the rim or Evan Mobley or Vic, but like he's elite for his size, you know what I'm saying? He's 6'6", as I said. He's got decent verticality. He's got long arms, so he can make plays like we saw against Aaron Gordon. He made a play in the clutch defensively, which helps set up the big three on the other end. And then, you know, that he's a really good help defender. He's pretty good at reading the passing lanes. He gets overshadowed because he's surrounded by guys that are really good at it, like Cason Wallace and Alex Caruso are like two of the best that we've ever seen at it. And then his one-on-one defense is still pretty good. Like it's not like he's Lou Dort or Caruso or anybody else, but like he's still good at it. Like it's funny because I remember a lot of people were pointing out in the Pacers series in the finals they were attacking him a lot, but that was less because he's bad and more like, well, he's surrounded on all sides by all defensive level DPOI level players. So it wouldn't make sense to try and attack them. You know what I'm saying? That's their whole thing. Like they're there to play defense. You want to get SGA to make him work offensively and defensively so he could slow down in the offensive end, right? But yeah, so it's just like seeing stuff like that, you know, like he just dropped 35, 15, and 9 with 0 turnovers on efficient shooting. Like his true shooting percentage was like 76 tonight, which is that shit insane. Like that's ridiculous. Like you don't see that often, obviously. So it's just it's just like stuff like this. It just tells me like, yeah, this guy's the best player in the world. You know, he's like always clutch. He has that clutch gene. Like it's so funny because it's like there are numbers that back it up, but it's also like some people got it and some people just don't. Like that's really what it comes down to. He just has that clutch gene. He's super efficient. He's the best scorer in the league by far. Elite two-way player, one of the best playmakers in the league. Like honestly, he's a top 3 playmaker in this league because it's like what him, Luka, and Jokic, and that's really it. Those are the only 2 I'd put over him at this point as playmakers in this league right now. And and it's just it's crazy to think of, man. It kind of makes me mad that he wasted the Maple Jordan nickname on Andrew Wiggins because this is the real Maple Jordan right here. You know what I'm saying? He just traded the athleticism for better 3-point shooting and better passing. So it's crazy. It's crazy to watch, man. It's makes me really excited as a Thunder fan because this guy's gonna be here for a while, and if he keeps at this rate, we're gonna have some uncomfortable conversations about where he's at all time. I already said this is a top 3 point guard. This is a top 3 guard peak, period. Like ever. So I mean, hey, we're gonna have some real funny conversations on just how high up on that all-time list he is. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, thank you guys for watching. I'll talk more a little bit about maybe the next video might be going on other things, you know what I'm saying? Talking about like I've got another idea on like where I think Victor Wembanyama rates right now in the top tier players right now. I've got some thoughts on that, but I just kind of wanted to get my thoughts while they're still fresh about this Denver Nuggets OKC Thunder game. I was really excited to watch the game. It was a great game. Like, yeah, I know my team won, but other than that, it was also like amazing. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. This is Media Yaps, and I'll see y'all on the next one.